Hey guys, Chris Sinog, author of How to Shoot Like a Navy SEAL, and although you cannot get a copy of this book in paperback any longer, it's still available on Amazon where you can get ebooks there, so make sure you check it out there, but also make sure you're signed up for my free newsletter because I'm going to be giving away a signed copy of one of these rare paperbacks very shortly, so make sure you sign up at centermassgroup.com. Alright, so today I am going to be talking about how to shoot faster. It's a pretty common question. A lot of people, obviously everybody wants to shoot faster, but we need to make sure that we obviously are shooting accurately as we're learning to shoot faster. So I created this kind of flow chart right here to not only show what happens when you are training and when you're shooting, but how you can use it to your advantage to learn to shoot faster. Okay? So the first thing is anytime you do an action, so in firearms training, that could be anything. It could be drawing your pistol. It could be actually firing the gun, pressing back on the trigger. Whatever it is, every action creates what's called myelin around that neural pathway. Okay, so you do an action and your brain, it's trying to help you out, you know, because we used to get chased by lions and tigers and bears, I don't know, but your brain is trying to help you out. So if you need to do that action again, it's going to happen faster. Okay, so it puts insulation around that neural pathway. That way the next time that neural pathway needs to be activated, say you need to shoot the gun again, that impulse is just going to naturally go faster. So right here, the myelin creation, as you can see right there. So here's our little neural pathway. It's getting myelin around that to insulate it. So the impulse can now move faster along that. Okay? The next thing you need to know is the more exact you do that, or the slower you do that, the more myelin is going to be created. So you can see that to do it more exact, you need to do it slower. And if you do it slower, you can do it more exact. Okay? And as you do that, you're creating more myelin around that neural pathway. And once again, that's going to allow that impulse to happen faster, which leads to what we're talking about today, speed. Okay? So very quickly, you do an action. No matter whether you did it right or did it wrong, your brain does not know. It just knows you did something. It's creating myelin. Okay? When you have that pathway, that impulse is going to naturally go faster along that pathway. The more exact, the slower you do it, the more myelin's created, the more insulated that neural pathway is, the faster you're going to be able to shoot. And it's just a cycle that keeps going and keeps going. Okay? So that is really it in a nutshell. So, you know, a lot of people kind of have this backwards, and they try using just an action straight to speed. Okay? So let me show you what happens if you try to do this backwards. Like most, you know, unfortunately a lot of instructors will, you know, hey, just push your speed, push your speed. When you push your speed, you're going to crash. You're going to make a mistake. And once again, your mind does not know that's not what you wanted it to do, so it's going to create myelinization around that neural pathway of that mistake. So you're reinforcing doing something wrong. Okay, so say we go from action to speed. Okay, so our action is speed. Push your speed. Well, here's what happens if we go this way. You can see, you know, you're going to create this myelin, but it's actually going to go right down into our number one problem right here, and that's stress. Okay? So you are creating stress upon yourself and not doing the action you want to do it. And there's some other things that create stress also, such as when your gun goes bang, when a pro timer or shot clock goes beep, or the recoil or the boom of your gun. So there's a lot of B's here, the last one, is your brain, that self-induced stress. And by trying to push your speed without having the neural pathway properly formed, you're going to bounce right off onto stress. And stress, you don't know what's going to happen after that. Okay? So if you want to do it properly, you need to go in this direction. Okay? So now it gets to, how do we do it more exact? How do we do it slower? Okay? Because if we're over in here and we're over in here, we're not doing it the way we want to do it. So there is a way to do it. And I developed the new rules of marksmanship. It's a training philosophy that I teach by. I've been teaching firearms for over 20 years. And I came up with the new rules of marksmanship. Rule number 5 is dry weapons training. A lot of people call it dry fire, but to me it's just so much more than, a lot of people think of dry fire as just pressing, squeezing the trigger. And I think it's just a lot more than that. So that's why I tend to call it dry weapons training. And by doing dry weapons training, you can do whatever movement you want to do perfectly every single time. And you can do it slowly, and you're doing it without adding any stress. Because stress is a killer when you're trying to learn something. You're not going to learn it. And if you haven't done enough of this and you haven't created enough myelin or a myelinization around that neural pathway, when stress is introduced, it's going to be able to get in there. So you need to spend some time and effort training the right way. And you don't need to go to the range to do that. I'm here in my garage. This is where I train. I do almost 90% of my training right here in this garage. That's why I'm filming it here, because you can do it at home. Just find a place, a quiet place where you can do your training and knock it out at home, because that's without any stress. That's without any of these things happening right here. There's no bang, beep, boom. And your brain is not stressed out by trying to, somebody else is watching you. Do it by yourself, do it right, and you will start along this perfect pathway. You'll be paving what I call the path to perfection by using the new rules of marksmanship. And in this case, if you want to shoot faster, this is the way to do it. Okay? And it's going to build you a solid foundation of not just speed, but accuracy and confidence every time you need to shoot. All right? So now I added a couple bonuses here for you, and I'm just going to touch on them real quick. I'll do another video on each of them another time. But the first one to shoot faster is new rule number 1, and that is your brain or your mind, training that. And when it comes to speed, here's what happens. When we go to shoot, say we're going to do, shoot 10 rounds as fast as you can shoot. It doesn't matter if it's pistol, rifle, any weapon system. If I were on the range and I told you to do that, the first thing you do is you think of, what will that sound like? So, you have this tempo in your head. Bang, 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 bang. Whatever it is for you. You hear that in your head, and then when you shoot, that's what you do. That's exactly how fast you shoot, no faster. Bang, 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 bang. So, the way you can use your mind to shoot faster, it's super simple. Try it out on the range. It's going to blow your mind. Just think faster. Listen to the sound in your head and just speed it up. Bang, 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 bang. Okay? Do that. Think faster and you will shoot faster. That's new rule number 1. Okay? Speed bonus number 2 is new rule number 3. And I did a video about this already, but the way you use new rule number 3, which is using physics or mechanics, is just like the 3 little pigs did. When that wind blew harder and harder and harder, the ones that stood up, or the one that stood up, was the one made out of brick. Okay, so the faster you want to shoot, the more aggressive your shooting position needs to be. Okay, so what does that mean? It means you need to just lean forward more. Because if you're shooting on your heels, you're going to be pushed off balance, And as you try to shoot again, you're going to be throwing your body forward. So you're going to be constantly forward and backwards, and you're going to start throwing rounds, especially if you're trying to shoot faster, it's not going to work. But if you're more aggressive, if you have a better grip on your gun, if you use all the physics that I talk about in the new rules of marksmanship, just use them more, you'll be able to shoot faster. You've got to build a more solid foundation to be able to shoot faster. All right, so again, to shoot faster, use the new rules of marksmanship, build that path to perfection the right way, and it's going to take some time to build it the right way, but in the end, you're going to be shooting faster and more accurate than anybody else on the range, anybody out there that you're going to come up against. Keep stress out of it long enough to build that perfect insulated neural pathway, and then stress will not be able to get in there. Okay? If you do it the other way, it's not going to work. Stress will get right in there. So don't add your own stress as you're trying to train. Makes sense, right? New rule number 1, use your mind. Again, just think faster and you will shoot faster. Use the other things I talk about too, such as training your mind with meditation, visualization, and also just positive thinking. Okay? Don't go to the range and think, oh, I can't shoot fast. At least think, well, now I know how to shoot fast. This is awesome. And it is awesome. You can do it. And you're not going to get this information really anywhere out there unless you study the science and psychology books like I've been doing to give you this information. And again, new rule number 3, be like little pig number 3, okay? Build that solid foundation, and if you want to shoot faster, get more aggressive in your stance, in your grip, in everything you do.